soon as I see the go signal. And go. And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic. Ginger, it's Friday afternoon. What are you doing?
Well, John, what we're doing is a live show. You should know this. We had this discussion at breakfast. Did you miss the memo? But for those of you who are tuning in and don't know, I guess we could explain it, right?
See?
Explain it. So what we're doing is we're going to do a live show. Now, here's the caveat, you guys. I'm going to do a really cool painting. We're going to paint this, and you in the live audience are going to be part of this sort of secret group that gets to participate in our live show, and you can ask questions. Be sure to use capital letters when you type them in. Now, then when this show finishes processing, which usually takes about 30 minutes, it will be then locked up in a vault until we release it on one of our travels. Okay, so, but we thought it would be more fun to have live interaction on a show than when we just film it. People said they thought they'd like that. Apparently, there's some other artists on YouTube that also do that. My daughter was telling me about that this morning. I didn't know that. John and I sort of just decided that's what we were going to do. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. So you guys got to be in on the know. If you're a member of our Facebook page and you're wanting to paint along, we won't post these until we actually release your pictures, until we actually release the video, okay?
At a future date.
At a future date. I don't know when that'll be.
Supposed to have that disclaimer written up that Judy wrote up for me. Drat.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, just so you know that, but I mean, we're going to also, to thank you for being part of our live audience and joining us, we're going to have a 10-minute painting and a giveaway to our live audience today. So hang in. At the end of the show, we're going to do that. Hang in there with us. And feel free to ask questions because you make our show more interesting, and we appreciate you joining us. Do we have any moderators to thank here, John?
We have Mona,
Hi,
Tanya.
Mona. Hi, Tanya.
I think I saw Judy earlier. Maybe not yet. That's only two I see right now. Oh, there's Judy. Judy's there too.
Hey, Judy.
I thought you did.
Hi, Judy. So, yeah, that's cool. All right. So then this is what we're doing. So today I found a painting. These are called dog roses, and I found this photo on Paint My Photo.
Dog roses.
It's called Dog Rose, and you probably could look it up. And it was one of the photographers there. He really is an artist with his photography. I didn't change his picture that much. Really liked quite how he did it, and he kind of blurred everything out a little bit. And so I thought, well, this would be fun. I'll show you kind of a fun thing to do. We're going to be actually using a color called Paynes Gray. Now, if you do not have Paynes Gray and you happen to own black, you can mix black with ultramarine blue and get a Paynes Gray. Probably about 75-25%. 75% black, or maybe 65% black, and the rest Paynes ultramarine blue. And that would be a good way to get that to happen. If you don't have Paynes Gray, Paynes Gray is just sort of a nice color to have. Normally, we don't use it a lot, but this is a case where we are. You know, it's always fun to know different things. So we're doing an 8x10. I've just got a little brown canvas here. John's going to scoot on down while he's doing that, moving the...
we're down.
You're down. While he's moving, I just got a little 8x10 canvas. It doesn't really matter what the color is here because we're going to paint. I think I did red over this, red and black, the Paynes Gray over the red. But brown would be fine. Now, of course, if you don't like this dark color, you could just do it all in the browns, too. You don't have to use Paynes Gray. You could use this color. It would be an interesting painting with this color, but I'm going to show you how to do this one, okay? Fair? All right. So the first thing we want to do is take a little Paynes Gray and just cover the canvas with it. That's pretty easy. And I've just got a big tube of Matisse Paynes Gray here. Wow, it's giant. Okay, but that's all right. And I'll use a fairly large brush, only because I just want some expediency when covering it. So here's a large brush like this. You could use a smaller brush, but I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. So over we go with this, like that. And I'm just going to cover it up. And I'm putting it on fairly, I used all that up. It's now your brush, a big brush eats a certain amount of paint itself. It kind of devours some of it. But see, I'm sort of out of that color, so I'll put a little more on. And because I want this fairly damp, not real thick, but I'm gonna want it damp a little bit. So anyhow, that's what we're doing. This was sort of a week to discover things. We found a new microphone we can use when we travel. That apparently is John's all excited about.
It's the cat's meow.
Yeah, that's all way cool. And
basically, it's the one we have. I have an adapter though to use it on our computers.
And here's the thing. I always like to start off with something. Did you know, right? Were you aware? Were you aware that when you're starting a painting from a photograph, if the photograph itself is not going to be a perfect painting, you really have to decide, painting design and so forth. So you've got to. There's quite a few questions you need to ask yourself when you're starting a painting from a photograph that you wouldn't if you were just, say, copying one of mine, right? If it's a portrait. Now we're doing actually a portrait of a vase of flowers. I know it's a still life, but ostensibly it's a portrait. All right. So, that's what we're doing. But maybe you're doing a landscape, and there's all kinds of questions you have to ask yourself before you even start. And really, is it a good photograph? Is it got good lighting? All these things are really important things to ask. And I'm getting a lot of on our personal art coaching. I'm getting a lot of pictures in that people are doing from photographs, and the photographs just do not work as paintings. And I think that's important to know. All right, we're going to come up here about 3 fingers and slightly off center. I'm going to just scrape a little something here. I think I can scrape. It's not going to show up. It did with the red, okay?
Well, you can see it, but you got pretty dark brown under there now.
Yeah, it's not going to show up. So I think I'll just use a little bit of
Do you want
a tiny
dry
brush.
You want to dry and use
No, I'm just going to use a little bit of light color paint here, okay? And
that light color looks like white.
This is it's not quite white. This is called antique white, but white would work. I just want to come up here like that and make a little kind of a rounded bottom. And I think my vase is about 4 fingers tall, like that. And I'm just going to make a very simple vase like that. Just suggest my vase. There we go, like that. We'll just just kind of.
I missed the first few minutes clearing up for me. Jon and Ginger and Jon aren't posting anymore. No, we're posting.
Of course we're posting.
Of course we're posting.
Come on,
we're just doing extra live lessons.
We're trying to get ahead, so when we travel, we have things to do. Like, for instance, we're going to go live tomorrow instead of Sunday, and we'll leave that up. Okay? Because Sunday we're going to be out of town. We're traveling, but we won't have a live show on Monday. So then we'll have to put something up.
It'll be the one that we did last. No, we're gonna do that. We'll probably just turn this one back on.
We don't know. We'll see.
Be surprised.
All right. So pretty much that's the vase, and it's about 4 fingers wide if you want to know what that is. But that's kind of where I need to know that kind of for the rest of my picture. Okay. And I'm just going to do a couple little, like a dab of paint here and a dab of paint there. So I just kind of know where my table's going to be, all right? And let's see, maybe I'll just change this a bit, make this a bit wider right here. Sometimes you can kind of adjust your vase so that it's kind of, there you go, kind of adjusted that. Now, this little brush is going to go away. Now, here's the fun part of this. Let's just take a regular, I think, probably a bright brush would work, as opposed to a stupid brush. I know, it's just so silly, isn't it? Sorry, get a little carried away here with stuff. Let's find out. All right, maybe we'll use an angle because I like that so much, right? Let's use the angle. And so what I want to do is put my green leaves in. That's the next thing I'm going to do. All right. So I'm going to make the color, because this is all still kind of wet. This sort of Paynes Gray. Is we're going to take some yellow oxide and some ultramarine blue, and we're going to make some green leaves, and we're going to just, while this is still wet, all right, and I might even suggest even doing a dab of of glazing medium if you're having trouble keeping something wet. That's the satin glazing liquid from Golden. That's a good thing to use. These are good things to have on hand if you want to paint something like this. Here's some yellow, okay? Oh, there went the cap. I was on the floor. Note to self. Sorry, you don't have to get it right now, John. Just
we don't get it now. We won't remember to do it later.
It's rolled under the table. We got to crawl under the table to get it. You get to get it later. Okay, so there's a little. All right, so here's the color I want to make, and I've got. I think I'll continue to use this antique white since I've got it. Okay, I've got this out. You can use regular white if you want. It really won't matter. I'm going to just use it because we have it. Somebody said, please give us new colors to buy. So okay, so here's a little bit of yellow and blue to make this sort of green color. Okay, and maybe a little antique white with it. A little more blue. Okay. Now, I think I know what I did with this that was a little different. Just as soon as I find all our colors. Gosh, you'd think it would be so easy. They were here like hours ago. What's this? Where did all the little colors go? I'm going to use some, because we're using black, I'm going to use some phthalo green, okay? Because I can tone that down.
So this seems to be a new color that you've added to your palette.
Yeah, this is for this kind of thing. It's just easy, right? So I'm going to take some phthalo green and add it to that, okay? A little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit of this yellow color. Now what I want to do is just, let's try a little bit of this. Let's a little bit of white to that, right? Now you can add a drop of the black color, the Paynes Gray to it if you want, kind of dull this out. You should be wet. Now I'm going to come up here like this and just start almost Xing in my flowers like this, my leaves. And because this background is dry, or rather still wet, it's not dry, I can go ahead and this will start to blend in with the background. And you see I've got sort of a thing that comes up like this and comes around, and we'll just do some more in the center like that, and I'll put a little bit more of the phthalo green in there and kind of brighten the stuff up in the center like that. And I want to come down to the top of my vase, a little bit more yellow oxide, just a drop of the black Paynes Gray color, because that will sort of mute those colors. And I want to come off the side of this vase like this with some leaves. All right, this is a very fast, easy painting, and I think if you don't sock folder it on me, if you just sort of do a few little wispy things and then stop, okay, you can always come back and add another leaf or two.
Not do a sock folder thing.
Well, I mean, where you're just trying to, so this is a leaf, and I'm going to make this shape, and then I'm going to turn around and make this shape. This is what we call painting loose. Now I've got a leaf coming down like that. Now I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to that, and I'm going to just come down here into the vase.
Could you remind us one more time what makes Paynes Gray?
Paynes Gray can be made with black and ultramarine blue. Okay?
Any of the black family?
Yeah, any of the black family, and
Okay.
ultramarine blue. Okay, so that's how you'd make it. All right, so a little yellow oxide on top of that. Here's some of that. Now, as long as I'm in that, I might take a little on this side, maybe about an inch on that side, and I'll put a little green. Maybe something down here at the bottom, like that. Starting to make our glass. Did you see that?
Hey, Kim Sim's back.
Hey, Kimson, how you doing? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so now I've got a little yellow oxide on here, and I'm going to do the next layer, just on the brush, kind of flat on one side. Next layer of these leaves. Okay, maybe up here like that, just the next layer. Don't need it everywhere, just in a couple places. I'm going to say here's some next layer of plant, okay? And then let's see, let's take a little bit more of that and lighten this right there, okay? I think it's interesting to me that sometimes when you look at how to paint something, sometimes you can make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be, all right? So I think one of the things that we're going to want is transparent white. We have that somewhere. That would be either zinc white or mixing white. This would be, here I have a big jar of that, right? Here's a big jar of golden. We'll put a little bit of the zinc, probably a lot more than you need. You know, you save money when you buy paint in jars, but on the other hand, you have a tendency to scoop out a lot more, so then are you really saving it because you use more because you tended to dish yourself up more out of the jar, you know? Just a thought. You know, so anyway, here we go. Put that away. Now, zinc white is a translucent white, so I'm going to take some of that, right? And I want to come down here in the front, and let's see, let's get a little ultramarine blue and black with that. Let's just make it. There we go. There we go. Let's just come on down here like this, and add this color to the bottom of our canvas. And we want this sort of like, think about smoke, right? I'm going for smoke here. If you need to, put a little bit more Paynes Gray back on the edges so they're softer, if you have to, because what we're going for here is just the slightest bit of softness. So you see how I've got this very soft? Can you see both paintings side by side while I'm doing this? Can they see those?
No, I'd have to pull out some.
Okay, well, all right, so I'm going to come
I go
up
back
here.
and forth between them.
All right, so you can see that I'm coming up here like this and pulling a little of this color back up into here and kind of wiggling it around there like that. Think about sort of, and it's pretty. It's very soft. It's very muted. Okay. We'll put all that. Now I want some of that color in my vase like that too, like that. Maybe down in here and across this way. Okay. Oh, suddenly it's starting to look like a glass vase, huh? All right, that's cool. Now let's take a little bit of green color and let's come down here, maybe a little bit of white. Let's do it a little bit lighter. I want a couple lighter stems. Okay, not everywhere, but I'm just going to say there's a stem that's coming down here. You want the stems to sort of touch the bottom of the vase, right? You want to make sure that you've got some stems that are touching the bottom of it. Okay.
Luann would like to know, how do you decide where to put the highlights on the glass?
Well, I had a photograph that told me where they were. Otherwise, I'd tell you I'd had a light source. But I had a photograph of, I had a reference photo, which the way it works, I can't show you the reference photo, though I have perfect permission to teach it. I can't show it to you. So you can either go to Paint My Photo and look up something called dog rose, or you can just take my word for it. Okay, how's that?
Okay.
I would love to show you, right?
It's just the way they change their rulings.
Here's a little bit of a light right here. Yeah, you know, I just don't want any hassle, so I'm not doing it.
We're a hassle-free environment.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't put any white, but there it is, and I want a little bit of dark here on the bottom of the vase here. I want to just make sure I've got a little bit of dark where the table is. When you're painting glass, it's going to reflect whatever's behind it, okay? So if you decided to do this on a brown background, then you guys would have to be brown back here, not black. Does that make sense? So it's whatever you've decided that you're painting, okay? And like, for instance, I want to say there's a shadow under here, so now I'm going to come back and kind of this way. And this is kind of where he had the shadows. There we go. So there's that kind of dark color there. And of course, we can always come back and add more stuff. So like, for instance, I think I want another little leaf right here. There, right up there. And we'll talk about that mouth of there, like that. And let's see, how about a little mixing white and in this gray color, and let's see, can we lighten anything? Here's a little bit of light. That's the transparent white is a great color for layering. Okay, I'm going to put a few, before I dry it, I want to do that. Any questions, John?
No. I think we've got them. Let me just scan up here a little bit. Take a peek. Got the reflection one. Oh, someone's asking what temperature do you want your water at, and I said room temperature.
What are you talking about?
I would assume the water of your rinse water.
Yeah, it's just water. It just doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't.
What temperature should your paint water be?
Doesn't matter. It's just temperature. Doesn't matter.
I don't think I'd use boiling water, but I wouldn't use frozen water.
I've never heated water. It's just kind of water, you guys.
Just tap water, room temperature, whatever comes out.
Yeah. Okay, just kind of get that highlight a little bit better there. Now, at this point, I can do some of my flowers, but not all, okay? And so I've got a little magenta. All right, I'm going to add some of this color. Now, this is interesting because we want some of the flowers to be more grayed out, okay? So how we're going to achieve that is we'll take some magenta and white. That's pretty pink, right? We'll put a little tiny bit of the Paynes Gray in it, kind of soften that. Okay, so it's more of a purple color. I'm going to come up here just kind of like that using the just a little angle brush up here. Maybe I'm going to suggest, let's see, let's put a little bit of mixing white with that.
Here's a great question.
What? A little bit more black.
Did Ginger ever have to overcome perfectionism? If so, how did she do it? And if not, how to break out of it?
Well, I don't know. I think it just depends what you mean by, I mean.
Are you a sock folder or not?
I'm not a sock folder, but that doesn't mean I don't want things right. You know what I mean? I'll go back and look at a painting. The thing of it is that I think part of it is the fact that, nobody's giving you a grade on this, right? And you're not getting a grade like in school, but we all got taught that being a straight A student was better than not being a straight A student. See, this one's a little brighter, right? And so sometimes I think there's a tendency to feel like you wanted to do really well, like you did in school. But to have fun with this, a learning process. You can stress yourself out. Sometimes there's just so much your mind knows, and then it's just like learning. All right, here's an example, learning something on the computer. Sometimes somebody can tell you about a new program, and you've got it for about 10 minutes, and then like the next day, you don't have it anymore. And I remember my brother used to say, he's since passed on, but he used to say, I told you yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is today. This is today.
Was 24 hours ago.
I don't know. If I don't write it down, I don't know. Somebody else may get it immediately. Everybody learns things at a different rate, okay? Sometimes people are painting with handicaps. Maybe they're not feeling well. I mean, the other day when Jon and I were on a trip, I'd put my back out stepping funny off a curb. And I'm going to put a little flower out here. And anyway, it just wasn't getting better. And I had some pretty strong pain pills left over from something else. And I said, I hate to do this, but the ibuprofen isn't doing it. I need one of those pain pills. And so, I took the pain pill, and, then we had gone out to dinner. And I found I was in slow motion. I could barely eat, and my hand was going up. Everything was at half speed. And I thought, there's people that are living on medication like this their whole lives. They're seeing me whip through a painting, and they're going, OMG, what am I going to do? That isn't you today, right? And so it's got to be okay to be you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's got to be okay to be you, and whatever your deal is, you just got to give yourself permission to be. It's got to be okay. But I would say follow the tutorials. Do what I do. Don't go off the reservation. Every time I see people going off the reservation, well, I just thought I'd do my own thing. Well, that's fine. Do my thing first. See how well you do with my thing. Then do your own thing after you've done my thing. Because if you do my thing, you'll have at least one painting with it's balanced, and you'll also understand how to do it. And then say, okay, well, Ginger did it like this. I'll do it like this. Now I'm going to try a different background, see what happens. That's fine. But try to. I'm not being snotty about this, but I'm just saying try to. I'm going to lighten this up again. Here's a little bit of pink here. Try to at least. Consider at least following the tutorials the way they're designed, because there's a lot of planning. These flowers aren't just willy-nilly; they're planned here. I've got this little group here, this little triangular group. I've got this little guy hanging off the edge here. I've got this one over here. Got a little one up there. I'm going to have one down here that's kind of just on the ground, and I've got one up here next to the vase, like that. And I'll put a little bit more of the Paynes Gray with that, so that these aren't so bright. And I've got these down here at the bottom, okay? So I've got these flowers down here at the bottom, and I think it's kind of cute. And I'm looking at this going, what I like about this painting is I need a flower out here, which I can do. I'm going to put a flower out there, which means it's going to need something else, but I'm going to put a flower out there because I feel like for balance it needs it. So then I'll come back, a little bit of yellow in Paynes Gray makes a great green. Did you know that?
I do now.
You see a little bit of yellow in Paynes Gray makes a really nice olive green. And going to add some of that. That's a great color, right like that. And again, look at all the different greens we've got in here, because we chose to use phthalo green and putting a little bit of the Paynes Gray with it, or yellow makes and black makes an olive green. So there's a lot of different greens, and sometimes you have to decide where you want a color. Put a little ultramarine blue, that'll make it darker. That'll always darken a green. Little magenta will always darken a green. So maybe under here I want to say I want a little bit darker shadow under this one, right? Here I'm going to just add some more leaves to this one. So I'm kind of happy with my design. So we're just going to, leave it like that.
Holly's asking a question. I'm interested in waves and ocean class. What are you currently teaching in it?
In the Wave and Water Masterclass?
Yeah.
We're doing Niagara Falls as the new release. And it was done originally back in the mid-1800s. And the artist that did it, American artist that did it, he put this way cool rainbow in it. And I'd never tried to paint a rainbow like this. I learned a lot, too, because I'm going, that's not how I think I would. If I said, can you paint a rainbow, that's not how I do it. But I want you to see this. Can you see my rainbow? Look at how this rainbow comes through here. And again, this is another example of Paynes Gray in a picture, because there was a lot of black used with those colors back then. This was before the Impressionists. Anyway, so you've got this soft white with this rainbow coming all the way through down to here. You've got these teal greens and everything. This is the rocks, and this is, anyway, Niagara Falls. And he did this way before there were any, people live back here now. So anyway, that's our Wave and Water Masterclass that we're doing this for the month of September. And also for this week, for those of you who don't realize it, we also have an art academy, and we teach anything from, we don't just paint flowers here, we teach everything, but not everybody wants to paint flowers or people or dogs or cats. So we have such a variety of subjects in different styles of painting, from Impressionism to photorealism. Here, for instance, is a painting that is our weekly release for our Academy members. And if you guys were familiar with this painting, A Lady in the Garden, let me just back this up a bit, right here. You remember this one is on YouTube. That's one we did a couple years ago. And even though they're different artists, this was Frisk, and I tell you who the artist is in this one in the video. This American artist who has a hysterical bio. Guy was really funny. He did over
Child.
No, we're not telling the name. And and then we got he had over did over 3,000 paintings. We'll let you know who it is when you watch the video. But that's this one. And then but I think if you made them the same size, I think they'd make a nice pair. Don't you guys think so? Kind of garden paintings. So yeah, we paint a lot of different things. Just now, we probably let this dry a little bit. Yeah, I think it's okay. We don't have to do a hairdryer thing. So any other questions before I get too far gone here?
Before you get too far gone, where are you going? You got to continue painting.
I'm painting. I'm going to get some real white out too. By the way, see that?
I'm an Academy member. Can I change the Wave and Water for a week so I can paint the Niagara Falls? No. Thanks for asking.
You can do it for a month.
You can add it for a month.
You can add it for a month. Just tell us.
It's a pain in the butt to switch you guys for a week, and you won't get it done in a week. Even for a month,
we can't do it for a week. That's why we do it, and we only do one a month. It's a very special class, but you can do it for 1 month.
We have some
only add one painting.
Other Wave and Waters on the drawing board that look great.
All right, so I've got a little white here now. Okay, you guys with me? Just white. Yeah.
White. Titanium white.
Titanium white. Okay. And let me see. I lost my photo. I'm looking at this here.
Let me back out. I'm going to have them side by side here.
I lost my photo. Here it is. Oh, man, I hate that. Where'd my photo go? Well, I'm having to wing it here. I can't find it anymore. I had it on my iPad right here, and then I lost it.
I left my brush in the water too long. It really frayed out. How do I fix it? Buy a new one.
Buy a new one.
If it's that frayed, long.
Buy a new one. You can't really fix it. You know, some people think you can put like cornstarch on it and, you know, stiffen it
Cornstarch?
up. But they've got this junk you can buy at the art store. I don't know what it is. When you kind of like a gluey stuff you can wash off and like a starch, and you know, like a, you know, I don't know, hairspray, something gel, hair gel, something that will hold it in place and even clamp it. But I'd say I'd get another one.
What
Okay.
about boiling? Remember the boiling the water? That was
Yeah,
on
well,
silver.
you're supposed to be able to just on the ruby satin silver brushes. She says you can put them in boiling water and reshape them. I have not had big success with that. I don't know what planet these people live on. It hasn't been on mine. How's that, right? Does that sound mean? Does just in a little bit, right?
It does seem a little mean.
All right, I don't know. You know, Cinnamon says it works, and maybe it does. And you know, maybe it works for sock folders. It doesn't work for non-sock folders. I put it in boiling water. Nothing happened. I'm sorry, but you know, maybe by the time I did it, mine was too far gone too, huh?
Could be.
Maybe they weren't talking about the brush that I was dealing with. Maybe they're talking about one that wasn't quite so nuts, right? All right, so we're going to put a little white center on these. Tap that in. It's not a perfect circle. Do you please notice that?
Your painting's all dry now, right?
Yeah, it's dry because
Yep.
we all been chatting.
We've been chatting, so it all dried.
Let's try a little bit here. Let's put a little one here like that.
Yeah, you could try the master soap and just let it dry on there and see if it'll form. I just, if it's that frayed, the way you described it,
Yeah, it's time for a new brush. You know, brushes wear out. They don't last forever. So you see now, where's your eye going? Just going to all these little bright spots of white, you know, like some sort of like blinking boop, 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 boop. Don't want that, right? But you know that we had to put it somewhere, so we're putting it there for now. Now we have the white. We'll take a little bit of white with our magenta and brighten up a couple petals here, like that. Some of these front ones we're going to brighten up. Oh, a little bit more white here. Okay, I'm going to brighten up just a few layers. This is our next layer of flower. Okay, you saw where we had the kind of almost the dull purple. And we're going to lighten up this one a little bit. And I want this one. I want a little bit more color on a few of these. Just a bit. Not everyone has the same amount of color. Some of it's lighter and darker, but we want to say that there's some little more color on a couple of these flowers, which is, I think, kind of fun. You know, something that might be fun would be to then get your own vase of flowers, you know, in a glass vase, and you know, see if you could, you know, get some of these techniques and do that. Here's a little bit of this pink, kind of the mixing white and the grade pink, kind of not too white. And I'm going to wipe the brush off and just do a little bit here and here on the vase like that. Just dry brush that on. See, isn't that pretty? Just a little bit. That's why you want the transparent white. You really, people always ask, can I use something else? Well, not really, okay? And we'll come back down here and gray that out and just do another little, just a few dots on that flower. Here we go. That's down here on the table. All right, so now if I take a little bit of Paynes Gray and lots of yellow, and I've got this sort of green, kind of, it's a yellow-green color, yeah? Now, I'm going to just wipe the brush and then use just the point of it. See my point? And I'm going to come in here like this and tap it over that white stuff that I just did. So you barely see any white. I'm tapping this back. A little more yellow. Tapping it right over the white. And then some that's not. There you go. So the white's sort of underneath. See how we already pushed all that back? And then here on this one, we're just going to say it's that. Tapping it. Get a little paint each time you do it. So you have a little tiny bit of white, but such a little bit. Now let's take a little more yellow and white now. Let's do that. And no black in it. And let's take a few of these centers and brighten up a couple like that. Not everybody. Just some of them get a little brighter. Maybe 3. And then back to our duller colors down here for that. Okay, now as long as I'm into my light yellow, I always like to ask, where else could I put the paint? Could I put a couple little, maybe just a couple little stems in here that are showing up? Maybe a little bit of, just wipe that on here. There's a few little leaves, kind of like this, just some wispy leaves. How's that?
Wispy leaves are good.
Just a few little wispy leaves. I want to do that. And then as long as I'm doing leaves, because I get scattered, right? I wasn't doing leaves, I was doing flowers, but now I've changed. Now I'm doing leaves, right? I'm going to add a kind of this blue-green color. And look at that. See how bright that is? And in a couple of places up here, just in about 3 or 4 places, that's your color surprise. That's your paint that's going to, let's put a little bit more yellow with that. Kind of tone this one back in here like this. That is your let's put a little white with that. Now I'm gonna go lighten up here. This is almost a mint green color. 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2. Okay. So I've got more. Your focus is more here. And these flowers aren't talking so much. Oh.
Question. Do you wet and respray your gray palette before adding paints to keep them from drying out?
Mm-mm. No, mine just doesn't dry out. They don't dry out. Sometimes my brush is damp. Okay. Sometimes for sure my brush is damp. Now one thing you can do is I've got a damp brush and I might go back and I might carve in a bit of this flower. Does that make sense? I'm going to just, you can go back and you can rehone a couple of places. Maybe you need a few little dark areas and you lost it. You know, if you need to reshape a flower somewhere, you can do that. You can come back and kind of carve out a bit of flower that maybe wasn't as effective. Let's put a little bit of dark under this one. We had a little bit of light up there. We'll just make that a little darker. Okay. And I think actually I could lighten that flower up a bit. That really disappeared. I want it to be gone, but not that far gone. There, something like that. So he's kind of there, but not so much.
Oh,
now,
thank you, Eric, for the donation. Greatly appreciate that, buddy.
Oh, Eric, thank you so much. That is so kind. It's really appreciate it very much. If anybody, for instance, if you're watching this after it has aired, the show's aired.
If you're watching on a replay.
Like on a replay. That's what I wanted to say.
That's a big word.
It is, and you knew it too. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I just tell you, John, there's hope for you yet. So anyway, if you're watching this on the replay and you think that we're just so awesome and you'd like to do any kind of donation, you know, one thing you can do is donate to yourself. How do you do that? Well, come join us for 1 week at the Academy for $9.95. And you've got a week of all the lessons that we do in our Art Academy. Anything you can find on, not in the Wave and Water, but over 70 lessons that you can immerse yourself in for the entire week for $9.95. That's huge.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a good word, huh? We're really into these word things, aren't we? Yes, I'm going to say this. Want a little light right there.
We also accept donations through PayPal, which is gingercooklive.gallery/donations.
Yeah.
How clever is that?
In fact, you know, and that's, in fact, one lady was so sweet the other day. She wrote and she said, I'm not feeling well. I'm just, it's rather than cancel my membership, what I'm going to do is I'm going to donate 3 months of it to somebody. And John immediately was able to scholarship someone because of that. Just amazing what the neat stuff that happens, isn't it? All right, I'm going to go into the Paynes Gray, and this is kind of tricky now because I want to do some little tiny black dots.
We have a lot of new people on since you announced what this particular show is. You might want to go over again to this.
Okay, well, I'm putting these, you could do a Posca pen for this too. Because if you can't make these teeny, like if you dip the paint in a, well, you don't want to poke a hole in the canvas, but these have got to be really tiny, these little black dots. And I just put a few in here like that. Just a few little black dots in the center. Okay? Just saying.
Little seed thingies.
Little seedy things. And you don't have to put them in every one, but I just, you know, a couple little, just using the corner of that angle brush, okay? So there you go. That's what we're thinking that ought to happen. Yeah, you guys, what's happening is John and I have a lot of travel plans in the next month or two. And so what we're doing is trying to get ahead of our video production. And the reason we're going live today is that because we love the fact that we have a live audience. You guys ask us lots of questions. You make our broadcast so much fun. And so what we're doing is we're doing a live show. Those of you who are watching this, as soon as the video processes, it will not air, we will turn it off until we release it in a future date. So if you're watching it as a pre-recorded lesson, obviously we've already done that. It's still up there, okay? But if you haven't, then
you're not.
then you haven't, then you're not, right?
Oh, I like it how you come up with this.
Well, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I get distracted. Squirrel, 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 squirrel.
I love that movie. Oh, great movie.
Great movie. Yeah,
Great
okay,
movie.
so a little bit of dark in here. All right, so now I've got that. Now we're going to do one more thing.
We're not positive when this will re-air, so make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified when it becomes public.
Yeah, now here's some pure yellow, you guys. And I'm going to
Would that be the Cad Yellow Pure?
That's pure Cad red yellow, right?
Pure Cad Red
And then
Yellow.
just a couple of, you should dry the black first.
And have you done that?
No, I'm
Of course.
just being careful, but they probably won't be as careful as me. I have sock folder
Ooh.
tendencies when I need them, okay? So anyway, dry the black first if
Apparently
you want
don't
to.
need them very often.
You just are a riot. Nobody can say anything.
I'm just calling them like I see them, boss.
Well, okay. So, well, this is why you wear glasses. You know.
You do have glasses on top of your head, you know. And I
Do
understand
I?
if you put them in front of your eyes, they do a lot more.
Oh, look at that. You're
They really
right. This is
benefit what you're-
awesome. I can see all the little dots now.
I
Wow.
just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thanks. Look at that. Man, it's just like the whole world came alive.
Can
Somebody was talking
asked a question. Joe Legg has asked a question.
Okay.
Let me scroll back and see if I can see anything from her. I'll be scrolling. You be doing what you're doing. I'll better
I'm doing
back
it.
up
That's
out
it.
again.
I mean, I'm just kind of doing it. I mean, I think we kind of, look how fun that was. Look how we got this
Who is the artist, or is this a Ginger freestyle?
this is a Ginger freestyle from a photograph from Paint My Photo called Dog Rose.
Dog Rose.
So if you want to see the photo, you can go to Paint My Photo. This is pretty much exactly what the photo was. I'm going to put a little bit of mixing white now, a transparent white, and lighten up a few things. Coming out here, I want to just sort of soften these centers a little bit on these.
I like that.
Just,
Gives them a little more depth.
yeah, just bring it out with then the transparent white. Okay, there we go. I'm just I'm looking at mine, but I'm also looking at the photo.
I absolutely love these. Not to know when the videos brings a great boost to my day. See, the surprise.
Is this surprise element? Do you
The
think
surprise
that's
element.
what? Okay, I can hear that. I think I'd like a little bit under this one. I think I'd like a little bit of a space between these two. There, see? Sometimes you can just go back and you can do these fun little things.
Try to do
And,
that in watercolor.
Yeah, can't do that in watercolor. All right, so let's take a little mixing white now and just come up here like that. Just.
How many squirrels are in the painting? This one doesn't have too many. She's been pretty focused.
And I think I want a little bit more right here like that. Just, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to take titanium white and a couple of drops of that up here. See how much whiter that is, the titanium, than the mixing white? There, so, I mean, you can kind of see where that makes a difference. Now, let's take a little bit of this ultramarine blue and mixing white.
Hey, we'd like
a
to
little
thank
bit of
Sharon for
magenta.
the donation using the PayPal system.
Oh, thanks, Sharon.
We like you when you use the PayPal system because they only take 3%, whereas Google or YouTube take 30.
Yeah, I'm going to just put a little of this sort of
So thank you
purpley
very
blue
much, Sharon.
color down here on our table. I like that color, don't you? It's sort of, oh, I love that blue color. That is way cool. Just so pretty. That's it. How I got that was
That's a
magenta,
purpley blue.
ultramarine blue, and mixing white. Magenta, ultramarine blue, and mixing white. Whoops, too much of that. And there we go. Just this sort of pale color here. And you see, when you notice when I mix paint, and I might put a little tiny bit of Paynes Gray in that. When I mix paint, I don't try to fix, if I get a color too dark, I don't try to fix that. I move away from it and keep mixing. And that's always a good trick. There we go. There we go. So that, my dear friends, is our picture for the day. It didn't take too long to paint, but I think it was fun, right? What do you guys think?
It's a good. This to me is a one cookie lesson.
Yeah, it's a one cookie and how to be loose. Someone said, I don't understand how to be loose. And this is how you're loose. And then I'm going to sit
This
there
is a
saying,
good exercise in being loose.
and
So
I'm
you
going to
sock
do it.
folders out there, and I'm thinking of Andrew. Let's see you tackle this one, buddy.
Okay, and then I might just do another little line right there on the base because I think that's kind of nice. And let's brighten this up. Let's brighten this one up right here. This little petal up right here. This little pink petal right there. Sometimes you can just, there, see? Eye goes here, follows around, comes back around. There's our picture. Way fun.
Looks good.
So these are called dog roses.
Dog roses.
I remember having dog. I remember dog roses.
I don't remember dog roses.
I do,
We
but
had
I
a
can't remember.
dogwood.
We had a dogwood tree. Well, the dogwood tree, they grow in Houston. We had one when we lived in Kingwood. It was white, kind of more white flowers. Dog roses are different. We had those in Seattle, I'm pretty sure, but I can't remember. I don't have that much memory about it.
Uh-oh, the memory's fading.
No, I just haven't thought about them in 50, 70 years, something like that. All right. So I'm signing that one. I hope you guys had fun with this. Now we're going to go into our 10-minute fast painting and do a giveaway to our live studio audience. Oh, I like that color. Where could I put that color?
Audience.
Could I put that color? I signed it. I know I signed it, but I really like that little orange color. And I feel like we could just get a couple of them there, like that. That's nice. Just a couple. Sometimes, you can just play with colors just the slightest little bit. If you don't do every flower, right, like that, you can play with your flowers.
Will this be considered your color surprise?
Yeah, just there. Just gonna.
Because it's kind of off kilter from the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's nice though. Look what it does.
Yeah, it just sort of popped it a little bit. You just talked about popping it, and if there you go. So you don't outline the whole vase. You have some of the vases outlined, and one of the things you can do is, like, for instance, we didn't really use much of that glazing medium, did we? But you could take a little bit of blue and glazing medium like that. Even a little bit of green. That's pretty.
Kind of glaze over the glass.
So now look here. You can come up here like this, and maybe just tone back part of that vase, right? You know what I mean? You don't have to have it. I wouldn't do much, but I'm just saying you don't want it all outlined. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to
You
me.
you want some to be kind of very, very. You'll still be able to see it.
You want it very, very?
Vary the lightness and darks of your vase. So then I'm saying there's that, and maybe I'll still have a little bit of light here. See, I'll have a little bit of light here.
Hey, Jennifer apparently is a new viewer and wants to know, what is a sock folder?
Jennifer, a sock folder, there's two types of people generally that try to paint things. And sock folders it's good to be, if you're not a sock folder, it's good to be married to one because they keep the house a little neater. Two sock folders are disaster, right? Because sock folders are the people that when they get their clothes out of the dryer, they take all their socks and sort them in the way of colors, and they very neatly fold them up, and sometimes even, depending on how severe they've got a case of this, might even put them in little bins separated off for each little pair of socks, all right? Everything's perfectly neat. And these people have a tendency to paint really good photorealism pictures because they want everything exactly right. And people that are a little bit more loose, this isn't always the case, this is just sort of thing we've coined, people that tend to be a little bit more haphazard in the way they go about life, not be so concerned. Because let me point this out. I challenge you to go to any cemetery and find on the tombstones they really folded their socks well, or they were great housekeepers. It's rarely is that said. Mostly they were really nice people. Not that sock folders can't be nice people, but I mean, for some of us that don't fold socks, that's not our main focus. We do other things. And so we have a tendency to be able to not have something be so perfect. In other words, if our world is, it can be a little bit less, still organized but more disorderly. Let me show an example of that. Here would be a painting that you might find. This is our newest release. A sock folder would probably do very well with because it tends to more detail. But sometimes if you're really good at that, you might find it very difficult to slap 3 or 4 brushstrokes on a canvas and do something like this, which is more impressionism. this is harder for sock folders than that, believe it or not.
I believe it.
It's harder. So Niagara Falls is more of a sock folder painting, okay? It's a little more detailed. Not that you don't have soft and clouds and all that stuff, but it's just a little bit. So, and then sometimes there's paintings that are sort of in between. So we sort of have coined that phrase. It's not 100. Some people fold their socks, but the rest of their house is messy. So you can't really go by that. But it's just something that we like to, we say. We have fun. We say it, right?
We say, and we've coined the phrase.
We coined the phrase. I'm gonna make this dark down in here like that. All right. So let's get on with our next painting. I hope you guys like this.
I love it.
And
I think that's a keeper.
this was fun, and we got a couple of them. One was done with on a red background first, and this one was done with a brown background. But basically, they all kind of came out the same, didn't it? And it would be interesting to see what these would be like on a background that wasn't. So this is the one I'm using. It wasn't. Real dark. I mean, you still want a dark background, but it could be other colors. Do you have one of those? You didn't. I don't have any of the little
6x8.
6x8s. I don't have any of those.
Why not?
Oh, I guess I do. I lied. I have some. Here's some. They're under here. Poor Johnny had to get up, and I'm thinking I don't have any. One of the things we like to do with these little 10-minute paintings is if you like our 10-minute paintings, and they're generally at the end of our lessons, okay? So they're kind of hard to find. So if you want, our good friend Judith Guitar, and I say that because only a good friend would do this for you. She went ahead and she put the links exactly where they are in the videos on YouTube to the 10-minute paintings in the Pinterest board, Ginger Cook Live Pinterest board. It's called 10-minute paintings. You can find them, the picture of them, and where they can be found on YouTube with the link. I think that was so nice of her. She's been reorganizing. See, Judy's, I think, a bit more of a sock folder. She's gone through my Pinterest board, which I think she thought was a total disaster. It was the best I could do. That's all I can say, right? And she made it better, which is always a great thing. I know when my sister-in-law first came to, the brother that this was a sister-in-law for has since passed away. But anyway, my sister-in-law came. This was like for Cinnamon's wedding. This was like 20 years ago, and she came down and stayed with me for a few weeks. The first thing she did was go into my kitchen, take everything out of all the cupboards. Swear to God, she did this. All the plates, dishes, pots, and pans. Rearranged the whole kitchen. And everybody said, my neighbors, oh my gosh, that's so rude. She was here a week and she reorganized your kitchen. I said, she did. She says, are you upset? And I said, well, I thought I was. And then I thought, well, I don't have like the blue ribbon for organizing kitchens. I mean, I have a dishwasher, and I'm thinking, okay, I can take the glasses out of the dishwasher straight up and put them in this cupboard. That sounds good to me. And the refrigerator's over here, and this is where I make my coffee. And I pretty much I put stuff in my kitchen. I made a decision based on how I use it. Didn't know if it was right, just did it. It's what most of us did. And when she left, I put it all back. But she might have had a better idea. I was willing to give her that she might have had a better idea.
So you give it a try.
We give it a try. I mean, that's all you can do. Maybe I have a better idea about something. Give it a try, right? Just,
hey, we'd like to thank LaDonna for the donation coming through the PayPal system.
Yeah. Madonna, thank you so much. That is way awesome.
Way awesome.
What is way awesome? Don't you think that's a good example?
Way awesome.
Way awesome. Okay, so we're going to do a quick 10-minute painting. This may end up being a tutorial later. I think we'll start with...
What great backgrounds.
Oh, look at John does these backgrounds. These are real pieces of canvas. And John, like I say, John starts these backgrounds. I want this purple one. I like this purple one. We're starting with this purple one. This is what we do with our leftover paint. Now, my friend Becky Simons, what she does is she mixes it all together and just puts it in a jar, and then she eventually has just a bunch of gray paint, and she adds to that, and then she does all her backgrounds with gray. Kind of ends up like this tablet. That's fine too. Whatever you want to do. And but this works for us. And this is fun, right? And also it's sort of inspiring. So since we were on the since we were doing since we were doing clear glass vases, we've got a bunch. I'll put some links. We've done a bunch on that. Let me find my colored pencils here. One of our Academy members sent me, Robin Coate, right? Sent me these. Was it Robin?
Yes.
Sent me these nifty pencils. So I'm going to just I'm going to just start here and say there's my table, and I'm going to say I'm going to have another vase. I'm going to kind of, let's just move it over a little bit. Let's see, let me get a little bit fatter. All right, so this isn't true. This is just sort of almost like a rectangle. Kind of, we're going to say it's a little rounder here. What do you think? And we're not going to talk about it anymore after that, right? Okay, everybody's good with that? That's all we're doing. All right, so that's fun. And so you want to know what these are. These are very erasable with water. Anybody want to see me do that? I'll do that for you.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to erase one of the lines because people want to know if you can do it. Yep, see?
Wow.
Because the background's dry. Okay, so
Like
these
magic.
pencils are, she thought I'd like these charcoal soft pastel pencils, and they're by Giocon, Gioconda. And they're made in, I think she said Czechoslovakia.
Yes.
So, isn't it neat? Isn't it exotic?
Republic.
I mean, Czechoslovakia, wow, that's a long ways away from Texas. And yet here we have pencils made by them. And real pretty ones, too. Artists all over the world. Great place to be. Great
Luann
place.
has a comment here she'd like to share with you.
Yeah.
I threw my underoos all in the drawer unfolded. My husband walks in and he goes, "What are you doing?" Luann says, "Ginger said I could." I think that's just perfect.
I think that's just perfect. Yeah. What is that? Talk to the hand because the head ain't listening. Hold that
Talk
up
to the
here.
hand.
Talk to the hand because the head ain't listening. That's an old one, but a good one, right? Okay.
Vivian says it would be good to be a sock folder every so often.
Yeah, well, okay.
Oh, this is great painting already.
Yeah, we have done very little with it, right?
Well, look how well you've done it.
I know. Look at that. And you've already got the nice background. That's awesome, John. Your background is so perfect
Oh,
for
you
this
just say that
painting.
because it's true.
I know. It's such a perfect... He did great, didn't he? With
We'd
this
like to
background.
thank Maureen for her donation. She says, "Thank you for all you do."
Wow. Now I'm going to spray this paint because it's been out here a while in case anybody
So that's
wants
when
to
she
know.
sprays it. She does not start with a wet palette. Doesn't start with anything. She waits.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to just say that there's some sort of green stems in here like this.
For those of you who are interested, we do have an auction going on right now.
Oh, great auction. You guys, if you ever want to own an original Ginger Cook, and even though you've been gallantly participating in our neat, nifty 10-minute painting giveaways, and you haven't won anything yet, you could actually go to our auction site and check it out.
GingerCookAuction.com. That is running through the 16th, 17th, and 18th, I believe,
Yep.
of September.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get out some colors now. Already fun, though, right? You're getting the hang, aren't you, of this glass vase business?
I am.
It's just the color of whatever the heck you've got behind it. Yeah? So start with something first.
Diana would like to know, if I gesso foam core board, would I be able to use it for a canvas?
No, it'll separate. I don't think so. You can try it. Tell us how it works out. I don't think so.
Yeah,
though.
I don't think I would trust that.
I don't think so. And you can gesso paper. Not gesso, but you can put varnish, look like Liquitex gloss medium varnish on like heavy watercolor paper and kind
To
of
seal it.
seal it, but it's not the same as it's canvas. You know, the other thing too is, you guys can buy canvas by the roll, already gessoed, and it comes in different weights. So it depends how much it is a yard. Buy a yard of it and cut it up too. I mean, that's not that big a deal, right? You could do that.
Not a big deal at all.
So I think that would not be a bad use of your time, right? I don't know what your time's worth. Maybe it's worth more just a. Sorry, I don't know. That's not fair to say that because I don't know. I don't know what else you're doing. Maybe you're taking care of 15 kids. My neighbor just having another child. I think she's got like 12 or 13 of them. I lost count. I never see them. They're like children. They all kind of hide out in the house next door. All right, so we're just I'm having fun with this. I'm I think I had some Dazzling purple somewhere. I think we did that. I'm having fun with this fast little painting. So I answer questions while this is going on. If you haven't become a member of our Facebook club, it's free. We decided to leave it open to the open because it's more fun. It makes more. We decided it's more interesting. And so if you'd like to become, to check us out on Facebook, we would love it. Ginger Cook, the Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club. How fun is that, right?
We'd like to thank Sandra for her donation coming through the PayPal system.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
Keeps us in paints, canvas, and takes care of some people that need a little help joining our academy.
That's right. It helps everybody. It's a win-win for everybody. We pass it on. How's that? When you make a donation, we pass it on. So we appreciate it very much. So, anyway, my sister-in-law, the one that came for Cinnamon's wedding. Cinnamon, you may not know this, she got married at the Renaissance Fair in Texas. Houston Renaissance Fair. I think it's either the first or the second biggest one. Probably the biggest one now, but back then it was probably the second biggest Renaissance Fair in the United States. And the Renaissance Fair is where everybody dresses up like they were in King Arthur's court. And in costume, and then they have that have a lot of stuff to do. There's shops, and there's people have weddings there, and it's thousands of acres. I mean, it's really so way cool, right? And so I made her dress for that. I made her dress for the fair, and she got it out the other day and was letting her kids try it on. She said it was so tiny. She was going to college at the time, and every time I turned around, the stress of the wedding was getting to her, and she kept losing weight. And I said, you have to stop. I mean, I think the dress was like a size 2 before we finished. I said, I can't keep changing this dress. And my sister-in-law was so funny because she goes, because, I mean, it was a big deal to make this dress with the long sleeves and all this embroidery and lace, and all the pearls it was a hand, pearls all over it. I mean, someday maybe I can find a picture and show you guys. I mean, maybe Cinnamon will show it to you on her channel. You could ask her. She'll show a picture of the dress. She was just absolutely so spectacularly beautiful in it. And anyway, the upshot of it was that in order for me to make the first dress, I made like a play dress, and I kept using that. I was going to make that for the pattern because she couldn't. There's a lot to do at a Renaissance fair in Texas, and she couldn't keep running around at the fair in that. The fabric was that there's $1,000 in the fabric in her dress. No kidding. Well, I know people spend a lot more on weddings than that, but there was it was incredible. There was all this money in the fabric and the dress, and so she still got it. It's really it's a work of art in itself. And I had at the end of it, back when she was a kid, I used to make all her clothes. We lived in Aspen. I got into sewing because I couldn't afford to buy anything. Everything was too expensive in a tourist town. And what did they care? You were a tourist. So anyway, I had this one little label on it that said, made especially for you by Mommy. I had one left, and I sewed it in her dress when it was all done. And it was just kind of hid that in the hem of the dress. It was really way cool. Wish I had a picture. I don't know. I used to have a picture of the dress, but I took them all over to Cinnamon so she could photograph them. Kind of preserve how you preserve photographs, right? And I want to say something. Can I say something about your dad today, John?
Sure.
Okay, so this has been kind of a rough day on John. His dad passed away today. He was 92. And he had been very ill, so we knew it was coming. But still, it was a thing. And so anyway, John, we're very sorry. And he's just, he's hung in there with us, and he's still doing the broadcast. So anyway, that's not to, I didn't want to put a downer on that, but.
No, all is good.
Well, he'd had a wonderful life. He'd done exactly. Great life. And he had lived in this wonderful special care facility up there in Ohio, and they'd done a very good job of apparently taking care of him. And He'd set that up for himself before he got too ill. And so anyway, that's kind of what happened. That's kind of what's going on in Houston right now. Is that John's been on the phone all day, making arrangements for things, trying to get things sorted out. His dad wants to be cremated and buried at sea. So.
Which is a perfect fitting.
Huh?
Which is a perfect fitting. He was a Navy man.
Yeah, he was in the Navy, and so that's exactly right. He was in the Navy, and that's what he wanted.
It's looking pretty good so far, Jenny.
It's pretty. It's coming in
Getting
here,
there.
right? Not too shabby, right? We're almost there. Almost done, you guys. What do you think? Between one of them, you're going to like something that we did today, right?
Yeah. Now remember, this is going to be taken down and aired at a later date, and we're not sure when.
Yeah. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you hanging in there and watching it. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
No, but we should say that it is September 7th, 2018. We should have said that probably in the beginning.
Yeah, we should have, huh?
Judy wrote up a whole bunch of stuff that I was supposed to do, and I got to do that for the next show.
Well, you get a pass today, John. If you really get a pass, don't you think John gets a pass today? I think you get a pass. There's no should have today. I think we're all very glad that you made it up here. Yeah, yes and yes. I think we're all very glad you did, and thank you very much for still hanging in there with us. Let's see, where's the blues? I think I need another bit of blue out here. I'm kind of liking this one, you guys. This is fun.
This one we may just have to keep.
Huh?
We may just have to keep this one. I'll make sure Chester, Sammy, and Ellie all enter.
Nope, none of that, John.
Well,
can't have that.
I think Chester's kind of thinking this would look good in the doghouse.
I'm sure, but no, Chester. Sorry. Let's try some of this green. Let's try some white. I'm not getting anywhere where I want my colors here to go.
Because it's still wet?
Because it's still wet. I'll dry something in a minute and finish it up. But it's still wet, but that's okay. It's still wet.
I didn't know this was going on today. I was in St. Augustine. We didn't know it was going on today either.
We decide these things last minute. I'm telling you what, we're hopeless. We decide these things like the very last minute.
There are sock folders in the family that like to know the schedule, but there's others that say, oh, whatever, whenever. Oh, let's go do it now.
Is that what I said? I don't remember that. He makes the stuff up, you know.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't remember any of that. You know, I'm sure that couldn't be true.
It was a squirrel moment.
I'm sure that couldn't be true.
No, of course not.
It doesn't sound like me, does it to you guys?
No, it doesn't
really
sound like you at all.
Look, you know, did you know that reds are some of those colors that need to be put back several times? That they, you know, you put a little red somewhere and say, one person said, my colors, oh, this is a really good question. We should talk about this. Yes and yes. Somebody said, my colors just do not look like yours.
Why would that be, Ginger?
And the thing of it is that, and this is really important to talk about because everybody's monitor is different. If you're watching a tutorial and you can there's any way to download the picture maybe off of Pinterest or something, look at it on your phone and then look at it on your screen and see how close you are because your phone may show it differently than your screen, right? This is just some red here, some cad red, you know, some naphtha crimson in case anybody's wondering.
If you try to print it, it's going to look different. If you print it on a different printing, it's going to look different.
Yeah, it depends on your printer, right? All of this really depends on what you're doing, all right? So you can't see. You know, one thing about it when you're trying to do small detail work, when you're trying to drop little bits of paint on something, like I'm just doing, have a dry brush. Don't have any water on the brush at all. And there, look at the difference. You see that? I could not wipe that brush off enough
look at
to
it.
get that
We're going to zoom in on that
effect.
action. Hold on.
Yeah, I could not get that effect with a wet brush.
And these are our cheapy brushes right there that you're using.
Yeah,
I think the
love
key on this
these.
particular one is dry, but you've grabbed those things a few times.
I do, and I like them. They're nicely. I don't know if this is the right word, but they're nicely balanced. Does that make sense?
Balance as to how it feels.
You
in
know
the
how
hand.
they feel in your hand. The weight of them is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And did I ever tell you I thought a good idea would be, if people wanted to exercise things that you do all the time, would be to have weights that you could put on your hairbrush and your toothbrush and stuff. So when you pick these things up all the time anyway, you would then exercise. I thought that wasn't bad. I thought about that years ago.
So how do we compensate for the color differences? You're on your color. There's really
Well,
no compensation. You have to go. You're creating the art. You know what Ginger did. You know, you've got to make your yellows as bright as you want them, or whatever you want. And the same with the reds. I mean, you're the artist. We're just saying the monitors. What we're showing, the monitors are going to be different.
yeah.
We had
and
one
then,
gal that contacted us, and her whole yellow channel went out, and she goes, "These colors just aren't right," and she didn't know why. And I finally got a hold of her, and the color yellow was gone from her monitor. So there's a lot of things that affect the color.
See, and why does this painting work? You know what I mean? When you ask yourself, what is it about this painting that is so, works so well? Is the fact that I think it's working myself. Is that what makes this painting work is the fact that yellow and purple are complements. So if you do a painting with some purple and yellow, you're bound to have some success with it, right?
It's going to be a winner.
Yeah, and you pretty much have to, right? See, and then we'll
What's
just
Ginger's
suggest a
favorite
little
color to paint with?
cad red medium.
Really?
Yeah, and phthalo blue.
Huh.
I really like those
I would have
colors.
gone with the purple.
Well, I like purple too. I mean, I like purple too. Probably
and the
white.
phthalo green and the ocean blue, southern ocean blue.
Yeah, I mean, I like all those. I mean, definitely.
Basically, her palette is her favorite colors.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Huh?
That's the real key. What's your
Yeah.
button say?
All right. So I'm about winding up here,
Oh,
you
nobody
guys.
takes
Did
me
you?
seriously.
Did you?
I don't know if they can. Oh, they can't read that. It won't focus that close. Oh, wait a minute. It did kick in.
Like I say, I'm about done here.
Are you? That's Sammy's button that says, "Nobody takes me seriously, yar," for his pirate outfit.
Well, when you're wearing a pirate outfit, you can't complain that people don't take you seriously. Don't you think so?
That's true.
I mean, there's got to be some. You've got to
Especially if
give.
you're on a cruise ship, right?
Yeah, you've got to. You hope they don't take you seriously on a cruise ship if you've got a pirate outfit on.
Yeah, they get a little nervous seeing the bear run around. Okay.
Well, that's fun. This is a fun one, isn't it? Don't you guys think so?
And let's see, you did it started at 55, and we're at 13, which is what, 75? You did it in 20 minutes.
All right, not bad, right? Not
Yeah.
bad for a little picture here, right?
That's great.
All right, so there you go, you guys, my dear friends, there it is. And somebody fun will win this. Even if you're not fun, you still get to win it, but we're going to assume you're fun if you're entering. How's that?
So if you're not fun, don't enter this contest because you will not be a winner. I mean, is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you think that was bad?
We only have fun people on our show.
Okay.
Just curious, why does Ginger insist on the back and forth crisscrossing method to cover a background?
It depends. If you were doing an ocean, you'd want them all going horizontal.
Yep.
And if you were doing some sort of rainy thing, you'd want them going vertical. but a crisscross, it doesn't have any pattern to it at all. So then you can do whatever. You know, then you got a little more leeway. Okay?
All right, so if you have not entered, it's going to be too late. I'm shutting the door. Do it
All right.
now.
There's our picture, you guys.
I would take Johnny Depp seriously in a pirate outfit.
Oh,
That's a good
yes. Oh, well, you know, every once in a while, you know, you got to make exceptions, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to make exceptions for those guys, all right? All right, so I'm going to sign this here. And this is fun, right? This is sort of a fun little vase of flowers. And
it's fun, and you have to be fun to enter. We got the rules.
all right.
Good.
I'm
All right.
shaking my Posca pen here.
Is that what you were doing?
Yep.
I thought you were making a martini or something.
Well, it could seem like that, right?
Yeah. All right, 200, and we got about 40. We're still coming into the last second. 239. Going. Where's the, we need that. And we have this. Okay. We have got, on a Friday afternoon,
Yeah, what do we got?
240, that's still coming, 243. All right, closing the door at 243.
Well, okay. All right, this is fun.
This is fun. All we do is fun. Fun.
Where's that light colored here? I want this.
Alexa, I need a number between 1 and 243.
Your random number between 1 and 243 is 184.
Ooh, went back high this time. She's pretty darn random. John, we have a male.
Oh, all right.
Yes, one of the rare.
Okay.
Winner
Who won?
of painting is John Callahan.
All right, John. When you email us, you must include more than I won the painting. You've got to include a address where you'd like us mailed.
Hey, be nice. People get excited. They won the race. I won, and that's all they tell us.
I know. I won, and
We really need the mailing address.
Yep, mailing address, friends.
Otherwise, Chester will get it in his doghouse, and he will thank you. So, John, thank you for participating in our little challenge. And we trust you're a happy person and fun person, right?
Yes, fun, happy
See, we should
people.
have asked
won
first,
this.
John, are you fun? Come on.
Well, you know, you get into the personal then.
Well, it's got to be fun. Oh, we have Doug out here, too. So we had 4 males on today that I know of.
All right, I'm going to put my yellow back. Notice all the colors are back. There.
Thank you.
There, all back in the box. Everybody saw I did that, so in case it ever comes up later. I have witnesses. They were all back last time I used them. The lid wasn't on, however, but, well, we could do that too. That was nice. I like these. Thank you very much, Robin. Again, thank you so much for those. And, all right, so this was our giveaway. This was our painting that we're doing today.
Oh, wait. I got to, you ought to give the production staff a little clue what you're about to do so we can move things around, turn things off.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. And I see this right here. And Ginger sees something now that it's dry that I want to do. Do you see that? I want to take this. Here I've got the white. And I'm just going to glaze.
I knew you would.
I want to glaze over that. It's just a little, what do we call it? A little hot?
A little hot.
Why
did the palette shift colors? I think when you move something across it shifted colors on us.
Did it?
Yep. It's gone to yellow.
Our palette?
Uh-huh.
I didn't touch anything.
No, it changes color balance with whatever you stick under it. You must have put the dark picture under that. I don't know.
All right, there you go. Just tone that down a little bit because it was just a little bright. But sometimes you have to do that. You know, you have to sit there and say, what could I do? And then this is why it never hurts to just come back to a painting. And I say that. It never hurts to just come back to a painting and say, how are my lights and darks doing? Do I need to lighten up something?
It never hurts.
Just a couple of places with the with your picture doesn't hurt there. I'm going to lighten up that in this over here too. There. There, it just needed a little bit of bright, just a couple layers of something a bit
Why is
brighter.
the winner announced before John picks the number? Because you're out of sync. I can't pick the winner without having the number. I mean, you can't do that.
No, John, let's pick the number. What number was it, John?
184.
Okay.
See?
So we're sorry, you guys, but we do actually.
We do actually do it the right way. It's certified by Chester. Well, it's probably certified by Alex, since she's the accounting department.
All right, so these are our two paintings for the day. This was the one that someone in our actual studio audience that was watching us while we filmed this has won, and his name was
John Callahan.
John Callahan. So congratulations, John. Appreciate it very much. Do we have any of those tub of towel things left?
No, we do not.
We would do something with tub of towels, but we're all out of our samples.
Yep.
So that was fun, you guys. And the only thing I can do with those is, you don't know what I'm talking about. The other day, here's why you want these. And honestly, God, they don't pay me to say it. They gave me a tub of towels, but that's not enough to make me say anything. I mean.
Wait a minute, we're talking tub of towels. That is enough to make you say something.
One of our members, okay, our Facebook club members, and I think she's an Academy member too, she ordered a bunch of stuff from Jerry's Artorama, okay, online. And when she got the box, it had some gesso and some modeling paste, and the box had exploded on the inside, and she had a mess. She had this white junk all over the table when she opened this box, and it was on her.
It was
a
disaster.
It was, and she didn't own any of these. And I'm so sorry about that, because if she'd had this, she would have taken a tenth the time to clean up the mess. Because look what this does when you clean it up, right? So these are just the best. I just love these. We have a link on our. Don't we have a link somewhere on these?
We have that in our affiliate programs under Pinterest.
On our Pinterest page, we have something called an affiliate program. We have a link of where you can buy these on Amazon. They're sold in Home Depot in Canada. I think you can get them on Home Depot in the United States.
Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart.
Lowe's, everybody, and they're really not. But they should be sold in art stores, because that's where you need them. These guys are terrific. But
That's
I mean, look at how it's just cleaning. Everything's going on the towel, and everything's off of my hands. And they leave your hands really nice.
I cleaned the gray with it before we started. That was a disaster down there.
Yeah. So honestly, I can't say enough nice things about them, and they're very interesting. You can, if you're not sure if your brush is clean, you can do this with your brush. And look at this extra paint. Even though I rinsed this brush, look, I'm getting extra paint out of this brush. I can see it turn a little pink right there. So, I mean, they're really good for cleaning brushes. Actually, they say that on their thing they were thinking more house painting brushes, but, acrylic paint's acrylic paint, and they also get rid of nail polish. So, most fun.
Hey, John was a first-time live viewer, and thank you very much.
Oh, well, you guys, this was just great fun. I'm going to do one last thing here. I'm going to put this little leaf right here on this vase.
Kimson cleaned her kayak with one.
Oh, do you?
Cleans everything. Cleans the sink. Cleans the bathroom.
Yeah, they're really good. Somebody said they really got their shower doors the other day with those. Just loved them with the shower. You know how shower doors get that soap scum and you can't get it off. Your little life depends on it.
Now, we are going to be live tomorrow evening at 7:30.
Instead of Sunday, we'll be live tomorrow evening at 7:30. If anybody wants to join us, that lesson will stay up for the week, and then look for something on Monday that's been pre-recorded. Okay, and be sure to check out our auction site at gingercookauction.com. And when's our auction over, John?
16, 17, and 18. Each item ends at a different date, so when you bid on it, you can see.
2018 of September.
Oh, yeah, 2018. Yeah, we need that, because these are going to be up there for 100 years.
Yeah.
These videos.
Yeah. So this was a fun way to learn how to use Paynes Gray, and I think this was a fun 10-minute painting. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining us this afternoon, you guys. It was great.
It was wonderful. We enjoyed having you with us, the live studio audience.
Art hugs from Texas. Bye.
Okay, Sammy, you and Judy take us out of here. Bye, everyone.
I'm
Bye.
a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.